Today, we say goodbye to an old friend, the biggest supporter of my channel who's been here since the very beginning, has seen the ups and downs, the good times and the intensely frustrating, and it might surprise you to know, I'm absolutely pumped to get rid of him. But before I get ahead of myself, we're going right back to the very beginning, the big bang of Benji's Hobbies, and the one massive hobby decision that changed this channel forever. I'm Benji and welcome to Benji's Hobbies. During the first COVID lockdown, I decided that I was going to venture out into the wide world of YouTube on my own. I had dabbled with it previously on other channels, however, I had never settled on what sort of content I really enjoyed and wanted to make. So starting a brand new channel was my way of completely reinventing my YouTube career and getting a completely fresh start. For me to start doing this properly and taking it a little bit more seriously, I knew I was going to need some sort of dedicated hobby space that I'd be able to use as a studio. Previously, I had jankily filmed some hobby videos at my desk in the spare room, but it really wasn't set up in a way that would allow me to achieve what I wanted, so I knew I would need to make some big changes. Now, I did contemplate just using my spare room, however, as I occasionally tend to work late into the night, I didn't think I'd be very popular using an airbrush compressor while my wife was trying to sleep, let alone the smell and fumes from 3D printers and spray cans getting into the house. So my only other option was to convert my garden shed into something that somewhat resembles a studio, and this is kind of where my channel really started. My first ever video was the process that it took to convert my shed from your run-of-the-mill tool storage room into a dedicated hobby space, and to this day it's still one of my most popular videos on the channel. When I meet some of my viewers out in the wild, the first thing I normally get asked is about the shed, so it's clear that it's made an impression on you guys that have been watching since the very beginning. If you haven't seen the video, then I'll link it down below, so make sure you go and check it out after watching this one. Now, setting up my shed was possibly one of the best things I ever did to boost my hobby productivity. Having a dedicated hobby space to go and hobby in that didn't need packing up and tidying away in between hobby sessions, with all my tools and paints within easy reach, made it so easy to get into the hobby mood, and it really did end up becoming my happy place. Since setting up my shed, I don't think I've painted so many minis in such a short space of time, some of which have made their way all the way across the world to feature in some incredible videos on other channels. And despite some of the comments on my original video, my renovation work lasted incredibly well. No, the floor didn't sag, yes, it stayed warm in winter, and no, I didn't have any problems with damp or condensation. It held up just as well as I had expected it to. Perhaps that was down to luck, but I like to think that my workmanship had something to do with it too. There were some unexpected issues though. One unexpected downside was that it did encourage my hidden hoarding tendencies. Previously, with a lot less space to store all my stuff in, I had to be more selective about what I bought, including modelling materials, tools and miniatures. However, with an entire shed to be able to fill with this stuff, I didn't hold back as much as I might have done with less space. Also, whilst my shed would have been absolutely fine for a regular hobbyist, it did cause me a few problems as a YouTuber. Between tripod stands, microphone arms and various cables running all over the place, it didn't leave me a lot of room to manoeuvre, so it did end up becoming quite frustrating working in there at times. I think the camera was really deceptive and made it look a lot bigger than it actually was. I could pretty much touch every wall from my chair in the centre of the room, so it really was pretty tight for space when I was filming. Despite these faults though, I did absolutely love my shed. But unfortunately, sometimes good things have to come to an end. With my family soon to be growing from 2 to 3 with the arrival of Benji Jr., it was inevitable that there was going to be a move on the cards. Back in February, we had an offer accepted on a new house, and unfortunately, because of the way the shed is built, there was going to be no way of moving it. The shed would have to stay at the old house, and so, sadly, we would be parting ways. I started slowly sorting and packing stuff away before carting a lot of my minis and equipment to the wilds of North Wales to my parents' house for safekeeping, before doing the final pack down on the last of my stuff the week before the move. I did make sure though to put a few paints, brushes and basic tools to one side so that my personal hobbying wouldn't be put on hold after the move. So it's just gone 11 PM on the night before we move, and I've just finished packing up the last few bits in the shed, but it's finally done, and now that it's empty, it feels really weird being in here. All the models that I've collected, built and painted over the last almost 2 years are now in boxes. How am I feeling about it? It's really bittersweet, because the channel started here. My very first video on the channel was about how I created this shed, and I was so excited to have this brand new hobby space. And now, almost 2 years later, packing it all down is kind of bringing back all the memories of building it and being so excited to put that first video out. And I'm really hoping that once I've got the new studio set up, I'm gonna have that real passion and buzz again that just with the stress of the move, I feel like I've lost a little bit lately. So I'm really sad to be leaving, but also I cannot wait for the future. I'm sad, I'm happy, I really don't know how I'm feeling. It's been emotional. But don't you worry, the Benji's Hobbies journey doesn't end with the old shed. Behind this door is where I am going to be setting up a brand new hobby room from scratch, which will not only be almost 3 times the footprint of my last studio, but also host some really exciting new toys and equipment. And of course, I'm going to be taking you guys on the journey with me. It really doesn't look like much in here at the moment, but rest assured this is going to be my most exciting and ambitious project on the channel to date. And just like John Hammond in Jurassic Park, I'm sparing no expense. So make sure you stick around for the shed build video, which will be coming in a few weeks' time. And if you want to help me make all this happen, then consider supporting me and checking out my Patreon. The amazing contributions that my supporters have made every month help keep the lights on, and have gone a long way towards allowing me to start on this really ambitious project. Thanks so much for watching, and honestly, I can't wait to share with you what I've got coming up in the future. See you in the next video.